Hi, welcome once again to M5's English language learning program, Let's Speak English. I'm Gav Duncan and I'm here on your TV to help you learn English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good. Okay, well, let's learn English together. And hello to you all once again. Hello to the gentle chickens of the forest. Hello to the gods of English. Hello to the lemurs of the jungle and the gnus of the plains. Are you all having a good time? Yes? Good. Okay, now, animals, you all know the drill, so hop to it. Gusti, no dancing like a drunk gibbon or a mad chicken. Margot, keep your tail out of the way. People want to see the screen. And Nigel, wonderful hairy Nigel, the fantastic replacement for that fish thing we used to have as a pet. What was his name again? It began with a P, didn't it? Paul, Philip, Pretoria? I don't know. But it's not important, is it? No. Okay, so Nigel, back to the drill. You know what you have to do, don't you? You have to keep quiet for the next quarter of an hour. No squeaking, no grunting, and no snorting. Okay? Right then, let's get started, shall we? Now, the first thing I want to talk to you about today relates to the conversation I just had with the animals. Do you remember the word drill? Of course you do. We talked about this word a couple of lessons ago when we discussed drilling holes in walls with a drill. The verb to drill, to make a long, neat, thin hole in something. Like when the dentist drills a hole into your tooth to remove the damaged part of the tooth and prepare your tooth for a filling. Okay, now we saw that the main use of the verb to drill is that, to use something like this, together with a drill bit like this, to make a hole like this. In something. Maybe in a piece of wood, maybe in a wall, maybe in a piece of metal. Anyway, that's the most common use of the verb to drill. But there's more than one meaning to the verb too. What a surprise, eh? A word in English with more than one meaning. Blimey! I know, it's surprising, it's shocking, but it's true. So, another meaning of the verb is to train, to instruct. This meaning is usually used with an idea of physical training. If you join the army, then you will meet a drill sergeant, for example. The drill sergeant's job is to train soldiers. But this isn't Rambo training, this isn't SAS training, this isn't hand-to-hand combat training like the training that Master Ken provides. No. This training is drill training. This is when the drill sergeant teaches or drills soldiers in how to march about the parade ground in formation. You've all seen it at big military parades when lots of soldiers march in formation. Now there's another new verb, the verb to march. To march means to walk in a way that soldiers walk very regularly. 1, 2, 3, 4, left, right. The way that soldiers move, that's marching. Now, the job of the drill sergeant is to train, to drill the soldiers in the way of marching in formation, so that they look good when they're on parade. Here's an example of some drilled soldiers. These soldiers have been drilled. They've been taught how to move in formation, how to move as a single body, so that they all move together. Okay, so that's one other meaning of the verb to drill, to train people, well, soldiers, how to do things like marching about together in a group, in formation. In North America, you can also see other people who learn drill formations in marching bands. These are the bands that you often see at half-time in American football matches. They've been drilled or taught how to march, just like the soldiers. But these bands march in formation while they're playing musical instruments. Bizarre. Okay, so that's the same meaning of the verb to drill. The head coach or whoever drilled these people in how to march in time, in formation, together as a group. Great. Now, the third meaning of the verb to drill. This is the one I want to tell you about today. Now, this meaning of the verb relates to someone learning something by repetition. Repetition is the noun we get from the verb to repeat. When I was a young boy at school, we were taught simple mathematics by repetition. It was drilled into us. This means that we didn't think about what we were learning. We just repeated what the teacher told us. It was a mental drill. The information was drilled into our heads when it was repeated again and again and again. Now, this technique of studying isn't so popular in schools now, but there is still one area where this method is practiced in schools: the fire drill. When you have a fire drill, you learn by repetition what to do, where to go, etc., etc. And the reason the school teachers drill this information into your head, repetition, 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 is to make sure that when the fire bell rings, you automatically do what you should do without stopping to think. Now, this meaning of the verb to drill is connected to what I tell the animals at the start of the lesson. Animals, you know the drill. I'm using the noun from this, meaning the verb to drill, and I'm communicating that the animals know what I want them to do. I've told them repeatedly what they have to do when the lesson starts, and now, because they've heard it so many times, it's become fixed in their brains, and they know what to do without thinking. So, when I tell the animals, you know the drill, I'm telling them that we know what they have to do. That's all. They know the drill, and that's what we want them to do. Fantastic. And now, yes, you all know what's coming up next, don't you? That's right, major accident. What's coming up now is the exercise that we didn't manage to finish last time. The exercise with enough. Enough with nouns, enough with adjectives, and, as we saw last lesson, enough with verbs. Are you all ready? Are you sitting on the edge of your seat, geared up for the next bit? I hope so, because here it comes. Okay, now last lesson we finished number 7, didn't we? Number 7 was very similar to number 6, wasn't it? They both used enough with a verb, and it was the same verb too. We learnt that when we use enough with a verb, we put the verb first and follow with enough. Balint drinks enough water every day, for example. In the 2 sentences, we also had to deal with the fact that there was a negative involved. And because the verb was used in the present simple, we had to use the auxiliary verb to do, correctly conjugated, with the negative added, before we could add the main verb in the infinitive followed by enough. You do all remember that, don't you? Well, just in case, here's a little reminder. Trevor looks like a skeleton. He eat enough not. Trevor looks like a skeleton. He does not eat enough. Auxiliary verb to do, conjugated for the third person singular, does, with not added to show it's a negative idea, does not. Abbreviated, because we all prefer the short version, doesn't. Add the main verb in the infinitive, doesn't eat, and follow the main verb with enough. Trevor looks like a skeleton. He does not eat enough. Lots of people eat too much fried food and eat enough fresh fruit and vegetables not. Lots of people eat too much fried food and don't, do not, eat enough fresh fruit and vegetables. Auxiliary verb to do. Conjugated for the plural form, do, with not added to show it's a negative idea, do not. Abbreviated because we all prefer the short version, don't. Add the main verb in the infinitive, don't eat, and follow the main verb with enough. Lots of people eat too much fried food and don't, do not, eat enough fresh fruit and vegetables. Great! And on we go to the next one. My car's top speed is 180 kilometers an hour. My car, enough fast to win a race against a bicycle, but enough quick not to win a race against a Formula 1 car. Ooh, and there's two here. So let's have a look at the first one. What is the part of speech that we're using enough with? Is it a verb? No. Is it a noun? No. Well then, it must be an adjective. Yes, fast is an adjective. Okay, and what do we know about using enough with adjectives? That's right, the adjective comes first and we follow it with enough. Well, that's easy enough, isn't it? The first one is, my car is fast enough, blah, blah, blah. Good. My car is fast enough to win a race against a bicycle. Great. And what about the next part of the sentence? Which part of speech are we using enough with there? Well, would you look at that? The word we're using enough with here is the word quick. And quick is a synonym for fast. So that means that it's another adjective. Which means that we know we put quick first and follow it with enough. Simple, pimple. Ah, but hang on. There's a catch, isn't there? There's the word not, which means that this idea is negative. Okay, so what does that mean? What do we have to do now? Well, the sentence uses the verb to be. I am, you are, and he, she, and it, and my car is. But because we're using the negative with not, we have to decide whether to use isn't or it's not. They both mean the same thing, so it's up to us to choose. After that, all we have to do is decide how to finish the sentence. We're using enough with an adjective, quick, which means that we have to put the adjective first and then follow with enough. But it's not, it isn't, quick enough to win a race against a Formula 1 car. My car's top speed is 180 kilometers an hour. My car is fast enough to win a race against a bicycle, but it's not, it isn't, quick enough to win a race against a Formula 1 car. Great, and oh blimey, we're out of time again. Okay, well, you know what the French singer says about crying over spilt milk, don't you? Well then, no tears before bedtime. We finished for the day, but we'll start tomorrow's lesson with the end of the exercise. So, until tomorrow, have fun, relax, and enjoy yourselves. I'll see you all tomorrow, and until then, you know, www.m5tv.hu. See you later. Bye.